Logan here again with another video coming right at you today, and I'm so pumped for this one, guys. We're gonna jump in step by step on how I made $3,739 trading options this week. This has got to be one of my favorite videos that I've put out in a while, so I hope you guys still stay to the end with me and hang out for it. Make sure you guys leave a like, a comment, and subscribe on this video if you have yet to do that already, as it helps my channel out greatly. The link to the Discord to follow the plays is down in the description. I also mentioned the small account challenge a little bit in the video, which is where we plan on taking $3,000 into $10,000 in about a 4-month span, and we're at about $3,800.50 after about 2 weeks in that challenge, up 27%. There's also the M1 Finance link, free $30 if you sign up via my link. Definitely go check those out below, and let's get right into this one. Alright, so I got my laptop open next to me because there are so many plays that I had this week that it would be really hard for me to remember off the top of my head. Also, this is my new Rockies jersey. It says Logan Ladge on the back. So let's start with the first play, which is this Nvidia call credit spread that we started purchasing last Friday and then the Monday that this week started with. So I ended up grabbing 10 contracts of those. You guys can see here that I have a $785 credit upon opening those positions. It was a 7.85% return on the week. I had 10K in collateral, and this was saying that Nvidia wasn't going to cross 750, and that's what happened, right? Like, Nvidia chopped around the 690, 700 range for most of the week. So it was a perfectly painless trade, and by Wednesday we were at pretty much 90% profit. I decided to hold into expiration because there wasn't a play that I absolutely needed the money for right then and there. So I decided to hold it, but my chart showed that we were extremely overextended, and I decided to hop into it. I called up Halcyon, said, yo, check out Nvidia call spreads right now. These might go crazy. So I was really comfortable with them, and I cannot complain with about an 8% return this week on my capital. That's good for $785 so far this week. This was my SPY Iron Condor. Now, I didn't have very much buying power left over after using the 10K in collateral in my Robinhood account on the Nvidia play, and then also I have an IWM play coming up as well. You guys can see that we made $150 with $2,000 worth of collateral, which is good for a 7.5% return there. The Moz put spreads this week, right? I did the 413, 411, and we were completely fine. SPY chopped in the same range all week. After breaking all-time highs, I expected us to continue to move up, so I waited to grab the call spreads on these, and then I called them out to the Discord that, hey, I'm going to get the 429, 431 calls. I'm going to put $2,000 up in this trade between the calls and the put side. That should be good for about a 7.5% return on the week if you were to take both sides. And that's a question I've gotten a lot, is how do you make 8% on the ETF spreads? And it's always if you incorporate a Condor, if you want to play safe on both sides, right? You don't have to put up additional collateral to receive more credit, right? If you have the put side already or the call side. So with that same expiration of this Friday, I rode that into expiration. We're going to hop over to the IWM Condor, which we put $2,000 into this one, and then I received 70 credit, which isn't the best return out there. I think it's like 3.5% on my money. Not fantastic or anything, but I played it very safe. I liked IWM, and that was one of the trades I felt more comfortable with this week, as they had just rallied, and then on Wednesday or so, I took some IWM call spreads, which I really honestly wasn't the most comfortable with. The put side I was, yes, but when IWM's rallying, I just made sure that I didn't get too many of them. Didn't have a lot in this trade, as I had my money locked in Nvidia and Robinhood this week, and I had money moving over to my TOS account. But then we can jump into my Palantir covered call, which this made $36. I let this run into expiration. It was the $26 call that I sold. On my 279 shares, I'm able to sell for every 100 shares that I have, a call against it and collect premium. So we collected 36 bucks on that play this week, and I have yet to open a new one, which I'm probably going to do this coming week. We also have the Airbnb covered call that I want to show you guys right over here. And we collected 111, bought that back for $3, making $108 net difference on that. Fantastic return, and then we're also looking at opening a new one. We're going to see how it opens this week, but Airbnb is a stock that I'm really going to pay attention to this coming week. Then we had the Apple put credit spread. Now this was a play that we put into the Discord for the small account challenge, and I decided to take 3 of them on my Robinhood account. It was only $600 in collateral. We did the 123, 121 put spreads. When Apple was 125, we entered these on Tuesday, and we collected 36 credit for every $200 of collateral. So that's almost a 20% return. In a week, we did really well with that trade. This is one that I held into expiration, and we closed it in the small account challenge because of the CPI data that was coming out on Thursday. But we decided, you know what? Let's close this just to protect the small account. But for my own personal sake, it's just $600. I was cool holding it for an extra $9, and I couldn't get filled at 3 on Thursday when I tried to fill them. It's a great setup. I honestly wanted to play a call debit spread, but with the CPI data coming out, tech had me in a position where I didn't want to become overly bullish in case, right, short-term inflation talks, because that's what freaks the market out. Even though it really doesn't matter over the long term for the market, any short-term inflation talks like to scare people in the short term. So I had to make sure to protect myself, as I'm all about that weekly income. And then the last play that I want to cover is this Chewy call right here. I entered this trade for $8.20 3 weeks ago, and we end up taking profits at $14.90. That's right where I got filled. So I made $670 on this long call. And the reason that I picked this call up was from what my charts told me. Extremely oversold on Chewy. They had earnings coming up, so I hopped in for the earnings run up, rolled it for 3 weeks, and I hopped out the day before earnings right here of $670. So the only reason I took this trade off this week was because of earnings coming out on Chewy. And whenever earnings happen, you guys know that the IVs get messed with on these contracts. And I think right now it's currently trading at about 1100. So I'm glad I got out of it. Happy I could continue to move on with my trades, and I can always look to re-enter because the setup still looks good. You just have to avoid earnings or you're gonna get IB crushed, or anything can happen, right? I'm just not that type of trader. I don't like to sit into those situations and then watch every minute after hours the chart just go. You know, it's just not worth my time. So that's everything for the Robinhood portfolio this week, and we brought in a total of $1,927 in the Robinhood account, options trading. And then we're gonna jump into the TOS account and get into the grand total, and we'll add everything up for you guys there. So let's hop right over to the computer so we can go through the account statements on TOS. So as you guys can see here, this is my live account, right? Just want to show you guys this real quick as we hop in. So we'll start with Tesla. This was a trade that we opened for 50 credit. It was a small account challenge. I meant to put it in the Roth, but didn't realize that I wasn't in the Roth as I had previously opened the page. So right here you guys can see that we got a 50 credit, and we sold that back for an 11-cent debit, or $11. So that would be a $39 play right there. So that's one of our first plays. Then we did Amazon. This was the 188. One contract that I got here, it was a 3165 put and 3155 put. Those were spreads. So that was just one credit spread that Halcyon called out. And then I closed that 2 days later for a $55 debit, and that play was good for $133 right there. Then we can jump into the fun play on Wednesday, which is our 0 days to expiration iron butterfly. And this was a trade I was in for less than an hour and pulled $240 in 55 minutes on. So I can go more in depth on these with a couple traders in the future, but we are super pumped on that trade in general. So those were a couple of the trades that we had going on in here. And then on Thursday, I didn't call this play out because it required a lot of collateral. It was just $5,000 worth. I planned on closing it the same day, which I did about 2 hours later, but I got eaten up so bad in the commission. So even though I made $200, you guys can see I got 10 contracts for 40 credit, sold them back right here, the two orders, 6 and 4, for 20 debit, but I got eaten alive by commissions, only pulled 152, and I just didn't think it was something for the Discord to get into, like the hassle to get into personally. So I just traded that myself right there, just a quick in and out day trade, and was able to move on. Then let's move up a little bit on this graph. This was the SPX Iron Fly that brought in $1,075 on the day. We opened it for $11.05, and then 3 minutes later I opened another Condor for $11.20. And then I had two debit positions where I closed them for $5.75 a piece. If you do the math, it comes out to $1,075 on that trade. I sat and watched the computer like all day on Friday. The setup had been there the whole day, so I just continued to hold the trade, and I watched theta come in, and I watched it become closer to my 42.45 strikes, and I just sat in the trade. I sat in it and just allowed money to come in. No active scalping, nothing like that. Simply put up 10 grand in collateral and walked away with 1,075, which is almost 11% return just on that day. So what a great week it was for options trading. Now let's hop over to the Roth to wrap this up. Last two trades. As you guys can see here, starting on the 7th, we opened one Apple spread for 33 credit instead of 36 like the other trades. I got in this one a little late. This was in the Roth. So this was to follow the small account challenge. I let this go into expiration, so made 33 on it. Then we opened the Amazon Iron Condor right here, and this was good for 70 credit, and I was able to take this amount and let this run into expiration. It was a 1 day to expiration Iron Condor on Amazon. Amazon had been trending up all week. We talked about it in the last small account challenge. So that is our plays for the week. We let it run to expiration, made 140 credit on $2,000. So we plan to continue to grow these accounts, but that's going to be everything for me in this video. I appreciate all the support as always, guys. Let's actually do the quick math really quickly. Let me pull up my doc real quick. We have the Robinhood account, right, with a total gain down here highlighted, and then in the TOS account you can add all these plays up, and then these are the other Roth plays that I added, and then this is our grand total on the week for options trading. So I'm super pumped. I'm super glad that you guys made it this far in the video. I hope this provided some value, but going step by step through the plays, my mindset with them, didn't want to be too overly bullish on tech, but at the same time, SPY was at new all-time highs, so was QQQ's pushing there. It's not there just yet, and just running a lot of the same basic trades that I have been. So being able to secure this much profit in 1 week will help my account out greatly, as now I have this new amount of money, and if I have to achieve 10% on this, well, guess what? That would be $373 more on top of just the initial profit from this week, and that's the power of compounding interest. So that's going to be everything for me in this video. I appreciate all the support as always, guys. I hope you learned something, and if you did, make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe below, as it helps out the channel greatly. I'll try to get this video up on Sunday, and I'm excited for the week ahead. And if you want to come join us in the Discord, the link is in the description. I appreciate all the help and support as always from all the traders, and I will see you guys in the next one.